Now I would like to invite Doulaye Kone. He is the Deputy Director at Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's our pleasure to have him here. Thank you, and over to him.
Thank you, Sarika. I want to thank all the participants today, making the effort to join from wherever you are in the world. But first, let me say thank you to Jack as well. So working remotely, I think you're doing a great job trying to push for several messages and get the world to focus on the right issues. So I'm happy to be here today and share a topic which I think can also help us work collectively on making service delivery a true reality to everyone. So the topic I want to discuss today is to share with you why I believe adoption of standards and creation of new standards is actually critical for us to close the gap in the service for sanitation. My first slide I want to share with you is this one. This is if you travel or you don't travel, this is something you would be faced, whether on television, on any conference that you go. The inequality in the water and sanitation sector is big. The numbers speak for it, the reality speaks for it. And even in the developed countries, there's still this big gap between richer communities and poor communities. When I look at other industries, I put a picture here for cell phone. These pictures, you can generate your own from that web page, the Dollar Street. It takes pictures of living condition of communities in different geographies. So these are pictures I generated from the web page. If I look at the cell phone industries, there was time back, the water and sanitation communities was complaining that people have more cell phone than toilet, people have more cell phone than latrine. Why? I don't think the cell phone was designed for any particular type of community. So no one designed a cell phone for poor people or for rich people. The cell phone is designed to provide a service to communities. And as long as this service actually meets the needs of the customer and the user, people like to use them. People find ways to acquire them. And that market is one which has shown, when product meet customer need, it can be taken up very, very, very fast. In the field where I'm spending my career in sanitation service delivery, I have been very, I'm still facing challenges to explain to government entities, industries, that even a technology like pit latrine need to be maintained, need to be serviced. In the water and sanitation sector, anytime that someone proposes something new, the sector professional the first criticism would be, oh, this is not going to work. As if technology alone is going to be a magical solution. Any system in the water and in the sanitation field, pit latrine, dry toilet, composting toilet, wastewater treatment plant, pit emptying truck, any of the technologies along the value chain, no matter how advanced they are, without a service, it won't work. I think this is a lesson that we as professionals into the community, we need to acknowledge and start thinking more seriously about service model, business model, when technology are being promoted to actually support service delivery mechanisms. I went back in time and looked into, if there were good references in the business that we are we're doing. This is a famous article which came out in 2007. 2007 was the year before the UN Year of Sanitation. 2008 was declared the Year of Sanitation, right? So before that, there was a lot of movement happening. So to give people some historical context, so because the UN declared 2008 the Year of Sanitation, there was a lot of activity. And this journal actually, the British Medical Journal, ran a survey among its readers, among the most important breakthrough in the century. And sanitation was one, and I've heard the same from many other scientists in other countries as well. So the evidence is clear. When people are not in contact with pathogen contained in human waste, it helps grow a healthy economy and a healthy country. Yet, in the 21st century, we know most of the developed countries have used sewer system to do that. And in the 21st century, we are now living in a world where that technology serves only the minority of the global population. And we need to come up with a different type of technology. So I was looking at, what happened when the sewer was proposed as a technology. For most engineers, people would think, yes, it's John Snow, father of epidemiology, who actually made the relationship between the cholera virus and the water distribution or water point in the United Kingdom, and that generated a lot of things. But when the flush toilet and the sewer system was proving to be a potential solution, it took people like this gentleman, Edwin Chadwick, to actually translate this to put in place regulation and standards. These are people who are not very famous in this field, but it's thanks to the interpretation of the work that they did to understand how to set the right rules so that people don't just dump a technology into a community. There's a structured way to do it. There's a structured service to be deployed, and there are performance, how you can actually measure a performance, and it is regulated. Because of actions like this, the water and sanitation industry today is one of the sewer industry, I would say, wastewater industry is one of the well-perfected industries. It works very, very well. You have bigger utilities doing really great work. We are having hard time translating that experience into communities who are not living with sewer system. And this is where I want to bring all of you to say, if we're able to do that, and this is no competition, every type of system actually has, this is no competition between technologies and industries. I think there is an opportunity to live from an industry or non-sewer sanitation system. And most likely, I really believe standards can help to do that. When I started looking into standards into the sanitation field, this is one thing that we've discussed, Jack and myself, many, many times. And I believe you share that as well today. Again, there's a very limited numbers, very limited references. Few countries are taking initiative. ISO is doing some work, and that's not enough. I want to share few of the initiatives that we are leading, but also some of the work that I think other partners are leading, which can contribute to this. This is by far not exhaustive. I just want to give example. The Gates Foundation is known for promoting reinventive toilet technologies, and I hear feedback all the time. This is not going to work. This is too sophisticated. This is too complex. So all that can be true. But there is a big difference between trying to create a robust technology and really what would drive the adoption. We've been working very strongly focusing on laying out the right policies, the right performance standards. And the standards that I think is going to open the industries are not standards that promote any specific type of technology. It has to be open, and it has to be really focused in promoting human rights issues, promoting features that actually can make community much, much, much safer. The one that I'm displaying here, the ISO 30500 is one of this example. This is one of the standards which define for the first time that sanitation system should be killing pathogens. Pathogen kill people, let's kill the pathogen into the sanitation system itself. Okay? Before that, sanitation performance could be defined by many terms. It's okay if you have contaminated sludge or biohazard into the system, but then what do you do with that? There's no clear requirement. I'm not saying every technology should meet that in order to be deployed into a community. There are many ways to do this. There are standards around services, for example. I don't think we have enough in this space. I want to share a few examples, and this is my goal here is to inspire people to really take action at country level, action with your government. We don't have to wait for the global community to be pulling international standards so that it get promoted. There are initiatives at country level today to do this. Some of the international standards can actually serve as very, very good reference. So here I'm presenting four initiatives. The first one is ISO 24521. And this one was published 2016. Around 2015, I thought we could actually help promoting performance standards internationally that can inspire the industry to take action. And doing the literature review and talking to colleagues, I came to realize there was already a standard on on-site sanitation service provision, how you manage from end to end, from the household. What are the procedures? What are the guidelines? What are the performance specs for any company servicing a family? How you transport the waste? What are the guidelines around this? Where do you put the waste and treat it? What are the guidelines around this? And to my surprise, the standard was published, but no country had adopted it. It meant you had experts working for like 2-3 years, putting great ideas together, but no user was actually trying to use it. Because what actually lacked here is there were no communication, no advocacy. And then we started talking to countries and you realize, okay, India is doing a sanitation policy, Bangladesh is doing sanitation policy, Senegal is doing sanitation policy. But this is a document which provides guidelines and reference that the world experts came together and put that document as a reference. So instead of anyone going to say, okay, how are we going to start from scratch? There was already a reference. So we've worked with partners today to actually promote this, and thanks to their work, partners like ANSI, the American Institute for Standard, JUSUL, which is in Singapore, company which is also a strong one in standard development and product certification, and many national standardization bodies around the world. This has been adopted today by more than 20 countries. It's not enough. I think there's more effort to do that. The next two one, ISO 30500, this is the one that I said, define today a standalone toilet as one that should actually kill pathogen. And what are the performance indicators to say, okay, if you reach that performance, it kills pathogens. So that can inspire industry to put into the market product that meet those requirements, product performance. The first one, I think, needs to stay and need to be promoted. No matter what technology goes into the market, the service provision has to be regulated. And we really need to have strong standards around this. Any of these standards would be revisited regularly. And I think for anyone who is interested into the topic, at your country level, you can actually participate in the revision and drafting of those standards and the improvement of the language into the standards as well. The third one is one that we are promoting for treatment system that can be energy neutral. In most developing countries, access to electricity is very expensive. And for most utilities, the first big expense is always electricity, whether you're a water utility or a sanitation utility. You spend most of your money in electricity. So if we want to promote technologies that can actually help treat waste locally, we think promoting systems that can be energy neutral, they produce their own energy and they can be standalone system. And so this standard would provide some references and guidance for that. The guideline I'm proposing in the bottom here is one that anyone who is in Africa today can talk to the African Ministerial Council on Water. This is one that they're promoting. This is a policy-based organization. They came to realize every country in Africa today who want to promote sanitation, make investment, and bring some regulation or policies. So they have to start drafting their own policy themselves. And today, AMCAO is taking the leadership to actually propose minimum guidelines, which provide, perspective for countries on what at the minimum everyone should be thinking. And how do you develop a process like this to have a strong policy? So all these, I think, are going to help. Adoption of standards in countries, I think, is very, very critical. The engagement of experts and users, like we have on this conference today, and leaders who are attending also today, I think is going to be critical. We don't have enough standards today. The very limited proposal onto the table for industries, for service provider, for private sector engagement, for government to actually issue right policies and regulation. So I'd like to invite the community today to keep thinking more on this and take initiative with any leaders in your country and the cities you live in. So that's where I want to end my presentation today. Thank you again for inviting me. We were in Brazil last year all together. It was a very big party, but I guess this year we're doing the party online. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing the needs and importance of standards. You are definitely laying a path for others to follow and creating an environment where people can talk about need and importance of standards and adopt it.
One thing, Doulaye, last year at Sao Paulo in Brazil, we launched together with the congressman and the senator a proposal for a law that allow public-private partnership to invest in their water company to treat the sewage because 50% of their sewage are not treated. I have the good news is that after we came back a few months later, the Brazilian government told us that that law was passed. So the World Toilet Summit create a lot of legacies. It's amazing because we are able to bring the expert to convince the lawmakers. And we hope to keep on doing this. Thanks, Doulaye, for sharing with us.
Thank you. This is great. This is really great news. Congratulations to the people in Brazil who are leading this initiative. Thank you, Jack, for being always an inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doulaye. Thank you, Jack.